This moment won't come again. If you don't rise now, you'll regret later. There comes a time in everyone's life when everything feels uncertain, when you don't know what's next, when you question yourself, when the future looks foggy. But hidden inside those moments of confusion is something powerful, your defining moment. The one that will change everything if you choose to act. Maybe right now you're waiting for a sign, a perfect opportunity, or the right time to begin. But here's the truth, there is no right time. The right time is now. This is your moment. The moment to rise, to decide, to take control of your story before it slips away. You've spent years preparing for this without even realizing it. Every pain, every setback, every small victory has been leading you to this exact point. Life doesn't wait for anyone. Opportunities come disguised as challenges, and destiny waits for those who move when others hesitate. So today, I want you to stop doubting yourself. I want you to feel the fire that's been buried under your fear. You've been through enough waiting, enough second-guessing, enough planning. Now it's time to step forward with courage, and because this is your moment. There's always that one moment in life, a quiet, almost invisible instant, when everything changes. Not because the world suddenly becomes different, but because you do. You've probably felt it before. That tug inside you that says, I can't keep living like this. That deep whisper in your soul that tells you it's time. It doesn't come with fireworks or applause. It comes in silence when you're alone with your thoughts, realizing that the person you've been is no longer the person you're meant to be. That moment, right there, is where every great change begins. It's easy to look back at people who've achieved greatness and think they were born lucky, that they had some secret power or a better start. But look closer. You'll see that each of them had one defining moment, one decision, when they stopped making excuses and started making moves. They reached a point where pain became a teacher and comfort became the enemy. You see, life always gives you moments to decide. Stay as you are or step into who you're meant to become. Sometimes that moment comes after failure. You lose something, you get rejected, your plans collapse, and suddenly you're standing in the ashes of what used to be your comfort zone. You feel broken, defeated, unsure if you'll ever rise again. But it's in those exact moments that destiny whispers, this is it. This is your turning point. The problem is, most people run from it. They numb the pain, distract themselves, convince themselves they're fine. But the ones who rise, the ones who create quantum shifts, they stop running. They face it. They listen. Because deep down, we all know when our moment has arrived. It's that electric pull between who you are and who you could be. You feel restless, unsatisfied, even frustrated with yourself. That's not a sign of failure. That's growth calling your name. The reason you can't stay still anymore is because your soul is demanding expansion. You can't fit into the old version of you anymore. That frustration, that discomfort, that's your signal. It's life telling you, now, this is your moment. But here's the catch. Moments don't last forever. They pass, they fade, they move on to the next person who's ready. That's why so many people live in regret, because they felt that moment once. They knew they were supposed to act and they didn't. They waited for tomorrow, thinking there'd be another chance, another opportunity, another right time. But moments don't repeat themselves. When they knock and you don't open the door, they walk away quietly. You can't afford to let that happen. You can't keep saying someday. You can't keep waiting for the stars to align. There's power in deciding that this moment, right now, this breath, this heartbeat, is the one that changes everything. Because it only takes one moment of courage to rewrite an entire story, one decision to walk away from what's comfortable and step into what's possible. Think about it. Every revolution, every movement, every comeback, and it started with one defining decision. Someone who said no more. Someone who decided to rise when everyone else stayed down. Someone who believed that their pain had purpose. Maybe that someone is supposed to be you. Maybe this is your moment. The truth is, the universe doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who move. Life is full of people who almost did, almost started, almost became. Don't be one of them. Don't let your potential die in the almost. Because every second you spend doubting yourself, someone else is out there using the same second to change their life. You might not see it yet, but everything you've been through has prepared you for this very moment. The struggles, the heartbreaks, the sleepless nights, they weren't wasted. They were training you, shaping you, molding you into someone strong enough to carry your dream. Every tear, every mistake, every closed door, it was all leading you here. This is not a random point in your life. This is a divine setup for transformation. But transformation doesn't begin when conditions are perfect. It begins when you decide you're done waiting. When you realize that your defining moment isn't coming from the outside, it's being created from the inside. You don't stumble into destiny by luck. You step into it with intention. You choose it. And that choice, that's what separates those who talk about change from those who live it. So what's it going to be? Another year of excuses? Another month of hesitation? Another day of wishing you'd started sooner? Or will you finally claim the moment that's been waiting for you all along? Because whether you see it or not, your future self is watching you right now, hoping, praying that you make the move, that you choose growth over fear, action over comfort, purpose over delay. The truth is, no one can hand you your moment. No one can force it on you. You have to recognize it, feel it, and grab it with both hands before it disappears. You have to look your fear in the eye and say, "You've had your turn. Now it's mine." You have to decide that this, right here, right now, is where your story changes. Every great change begins with one defining moment. This is yours. Don't miss it. You know, it's funny how we keep telling ourselves, one day when everything is perfect, I'll start. We wait for the right time, the right energy, the right mindset, the right opportunity. And in that waiting, life keeps slipping by. The truth is, there is no right time, there is only now. And that's the hardest truth most people never accept. You can't build your future while waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are the one who decides when it begins. Every dream you have is waiting on one thing: your decision to move. Not luck, not timing, not someone else's approval. Just your decision. Because life doesn't give breakthroughs to those who hesitate. It gives them to those who dare. You've been waiting for something magical to happen, but what if the magic isn't in the waiting? It's in the doing. What if the moment you've been praying for isn't coming until you take that first step? We all tell ourselves stories, that we're not ready yet, that we need more experience, more money, more confidence. But here's the secret: no one ever feels ready. The greatest shifts in life happen not when you're prepared, but when you're willing. Willing to take the step even when the path isn't clear. Willing to risk failure for the chance at growth. Willing to say, I might not know how this ends, but I refuse to stay where I am. The problem with waiting is that it feels safe. It gives you the illusion of control. You tell yourself you're planning, thinking, preparing, but in reality, you're hiding. You're trying to protect yourself from the pain of failure, from the embarrassment of trying and falling short. But let me tell you something. The pain of waiting is worse than the pain of failing, because failure moves you forward, but waiting keeps you stuck. You can learn from failure. You can rise after it. But waiting teaches you nothing except how to live with regret. Think about how many times you said, I'll start tomorrow. How many ideas died in that sentence? How many dreams faded away behind that excuse? The truth is, you've already wasted enough time convincing yourself that you need more time. You don't need more time. You need more courage. You need to stop waiting for the feeling of readiness because it's never coming. Action creates readiness. Movement creates clarity. Confidence is not something you have before you start. It's something you earn because you start. Every single person who's achieved something great once stood exactly where you are, in uncertainty, in fear, in doubt, but they made a choice. They didn't wait for everything to be perfect. They moved while it was messy. They spoke while their voice was shaking. They tried when they could have quit. And somewhere along the way, life started moving with them, because that's how the universe works. It doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to actions. When you take that first step, something changes inside you. You start realizing that progress isn't about giant leaps. It's about showing up, even on the days you don't feel like it. It's about trusting that small steps compound into massive transformation. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you can. You begin to rebuild your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who waits, and you start becoming someone who moves. Waiting keeps you tied to the old version of yourself. The one who dreams but doesn't act. The one who plans but never begins. And the longer you wait, the louder that voice of fear becomes. It whispers, what if you fail? But what if you don't? What if this time it works? What if the thing you've been waiting for is already within your reach? If only you'd take the first step toward it. It's not about having everything figured out. It's about trusting that you'll figure it out as you go. The greatest breakthroughs don't happen in comfort zones. They happen in the unknown. That's where growth lives. That's where you discover who you truly are. Every great story begins with someone stepping into uncertainty. And yours will too. If you stop waiting for permission and start becoming the person who takes it. You see, waiting is comfortable because it asks nothing of you. But becoming asks everything. It demands patience, faith, and the willingness to walk through fear. But the reward? The reward is freedom. The moment you stop waiting, you take your power back. You stop living in someday and start living in today. You stop wishing and start building. And maybe that's what life has been trying to teach you all along. That no miracle is coming to rescue you. No perfect day is going to appear out of nowhere, because the miracle isn't out there somewhere. It's already inside you. It's the fire in your heart that refuses to die. It's the whisper that says, I was made for more. You just have to stop silencing it with your doubts. Imagine how different your life could be 6 months from now if you simply decided to start today. Imagine how much further you'd be if you didn't talk yourself out of it every time fear showed up. Time is passing anyway, whether you act or not. So what are you really waiting for? The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. Don't let your story be about what you almost did. Don't let your potential die in your hesitation. Every great life begins when someone says, enough. I'm done waiting. Maybe that someone is supposed to be you, right now in this moment. Because the truth is, life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It rewards those who start before they feel ready. You don't need perfect timing. You just need the courage to begin. So stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop delaying the life that's waiting for you. This is your time to move, to act, to become. Because the only thing standing between who you are and who you could be is your decision to start. There's something powerful that happens when you realize that no one is coming to save you. That moment when you finally understand, it's you. It's always been you. The truth is, most people spend their lives waiting for something external to push them forward. A mentor, a sign from the universe, the perfect opportunity. But life doesn't work that way. You are the author, the builder, and the driver. You're the one who has to move the pen, and if you don't, your story never gets written. You see, taking ownership of your life means looking in the mirror and saying, it's all on me. Not in a negative way. Not to blame yourself for the past, but to reclaim your power for the future. Because as long as you think someone else is responsible for your progress, you'll always stay stuck. You'll always have a reason not to act. Ownership is freedom. It's not waiting for doors to open. It's learning how to build your own. So many people say, I can't move forward because no one is helping me. But that mindset keeps you powerless. The truth is, no one owes you your dream. No one else can live your vision. That's your responsibility. That's your calling. And the moment you stop expecting help and start building with your own hands, something changes inside you. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become a creator of them. You don't need anyone's permission to start living the life you want. You just need to give yourself permission to begin. The moment you realize that, you stop waiting for motivation, because you understand that motivation isn't given, it's created. You create it every time you show up. Every time you take action when you don't feel like it. Every time you push through fear instead of running from it. That's how confidence is built. That's how self-belief grows. Taking ownership also means letting go of excuses. And let's be honest, we all have them. We say, I didn't have the same opportunities, I wasn't born in the right environment, or people don't believe in me. But here's the truth. You don't need anyone else to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself enough to start. Because your circumstances don't define your destiny. Your choices do. When you take responsibility, you stop blaming your past and start building your future. Yes, maybe life hasn't been fair. Maybe you've been hurt, rejected, or overlooked. But you can't keep carrying those things like chains and expect to fly. You have to decide right here, right now, that your pain ends with you. That your story won't be one of waiting, but one of rising. It's not easy. Ownership never is. Because it forces you to confront yourself, to face your fears, your habits, your laziness, your doubts. It's uncomfortable to admit that sometimes you've been your own biggest obstacle, but that discomfort is where growth begins. That's where transformation starts. Because once you own your part, you take back control. You realize you're not stuck because of life. You're stuck because you stopped moving. Every time you say, I'll start when things get better, you're giving your power away. Because life doesn't suddenly become easier. You become stronger. You grow through what you take responsibility for. If you want your life to change, stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? That's where shift begins. That's where power lives. Think of it like this. When you own a house, you take care of it. You repair what's broken, clean what's dirty, and improve what's old. But when you're just renting, you wait for someone else to fix it. That's the difference between living passively and living intentionally. Your life is your house. Don't rent it to fear, to doubt, to laziness. Own it, take care of it, build it into something that reflects who you are becoming. And don't underestimate how much small ownership can change things. You don't have to fix your whole life overnight. Just start with one decision, one action, one promise kept to yourself. Every time you do, you're sending a message to your brain that says, I can trust me. And when you trust yourself, you stop needing external validation. You stop chasing approval. You stop waiting for others to clap for you, because you're too busy building something worth clapping for. The truth is, no one's journey is perfect. Everyone struggles. Everyone stumbles. But the people who win are the ones who refuse to let their setbacks define them. They take ownership of the lesson and keep moving. They don't waste time blaming the storm. They learn how to sail through it. When you take ownership of your journey, something amazing happens. Your confidence no longer depends on results, it depends on consistency. You stop measuring success by what you have and start measuring it by who you're becoming. You start realizing that the power to change your life isn't out there, somewhere. It's been within you all along, and maybe that's why you had to struggle to finally see that. The person you've been waiting for, the one you thought would rescue you, was you. You've always had what it takes. You just needed to claim it. You just needed to stop waiting for someone to lead you and start becoming the leader of your own life. So, if you're tired of waiting, tired of feeling stuck, tired of wondering when it will all change, take ownership today. Start where you are with what you have and who you are. You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You just need to decide that your life is worth fighting for. Because the moment you take full ownership of your life, everything shifts. The excuses fade, the fear weakens, and your power rises. This is your story, your journey, your responsibility, and no one can live it for you. So stop waiting for change to find you. Stand up, take control, and become the change you've been waiting for. Most people think that the right time will come someday. A magical moment when everything finally aligns, when the fear disappears, when the doubts fade, and when the path becomes perfectly clear. But that moment never comes. The truth is, there is no perfect time. There's only now. Waiting for the right moment is one of the biggest traps life sets for us. Because while we wait, life keeps moving. Opportunities pass. Momentum fades. And before we realize it, the years have gone by. And we're still standing in the same place, holding on to the same dreams, telling ourselves the same story. I'll start soon. The problem with soon is that it becomes a habit. We say we'll start when we feel ready, but readiness never shows up. We say we'll begin after we get more money, more confidence, more clarity. But those things only come after we start, not before. Growth is not a reward for waiting. It's the result of doing. Every time you delay action, you're choosing comfort over progress. You're choosing fear over faith. And the longer you wait, the heavier your potential becomes. Think about it. How many times have you had a powerful idea, a dream, a vision that made your heart race? For a moment, you felt alive. You felt unstoppable. But then just as quickly, doubt crept in. What if I fail? What will people think? What if it's not the right time? And slowly, that spark that once burned inside you begins to fade into silence. You convince yourself that timing is everything, but it's not. Courage is everything. Because courage is what moves you, even when things aren't perfect. Look around. Every person who built something great started before they were ready. They didn't wait for permission or perfect timing. They stepped forward while their hands were still shaking. They didn't know the whole path. They just knew they had to move. And that's what separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers wait for life to change. Doers take one step and change their life. The moment you take that first step, something incredible happens. Life starts responding. Doors you didn't even know existed begin to open. People show up. Energy flows. The world shifts around you. Why? Because movement creates momentum. It's the act of moving forward, no matter how uncertain, that attracts possibility. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to begin. Waiting feels safe because it keeps you from failing, but it also keeps you from living. You can't avoid fear by waiting. Fear grows stronger in stillness. The only way to defeat fear is by acting through it. Every step you take, no matter how small, weakens the grip fear has on you. And soon, what once terrified you becomes the thing that empowers you. You might think you're waiting because the time isn't right, but deep down you're waiting because you're scared. Scared of failing, scared of being judged, scared of not being enough. But let me tell you something. Everyone who ever achieved something meaningful felt the same way. Fear is a companion, not a stop sign. It's proof that you're doing something that matters. You can't grow in the absence of fear. You grow when you act despite it. What if I told you that your one day could be today? That the thing you've been dreaming about, planning for, talking about, could finally begin right now if you just decided to take the first step? You don't need more time. You need more truth. And the truth is, your dream will not wait forever. Every delay makes the climb steeper. Every hesitation makes the distance longer. You don't have to take a giant leap. Just start with one move. Write one sentence. Take one call. Send one email. Create one plan. Action, even in its smallest form, builds power. Every single day you act, your self-belief grows stronger. And one day, you'll look back and realize that what once looked impossible was simply waiting for your decision. Think of all the people who had dreams but never started. They all had reasons, valid ones even. But reasons don't build legacies. Decisions do. Don't let your fear of failure rob you of the chance to see how far you could go. Failure doesn't define you. Inaction does. Because at least failure moves you forward, teaches you, builds you. Waiting teaches nothing but regret. There's a saying that goes, "A year from now, you'll wish you had started today." And that's the truth. Time will pass anyway. Whether you act or not, the days will keep moving. So ask yourself, when that day comes, will you be proud that you started, or will you be wishing that you had? The only thing worse than failure is regret, because regret lives longer. You have to understand there's no magic sign that tells you it's time. The universe doesn't whisper, "Now you're ready." You decide that. You create your own timing. You give meaning to your own moment. Because the truth is, your moment is already here. It's been here waiting for you, so stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop waiting for more clarity, more courage, more approval. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Because they already have. You're alive, you're breathing, and that means the opportunity is now. Life doesn't reward the ones who wait the longest. It rewards the ones who act with faith when things are uncertain. If you've been holding back, if you've been telling yourself that you'll start when the time is right, let this be your reminder. The time is never right, but the moment is always yours, and maybe, just maybe, this is it. The moment you stop waiting and start becoming. There's something powerful that happens the moment you decide to stop being the audience in your own story and finally step onto the stage. Because most people live their entire lives as observers, watching, dreaming, talking about what they could do one day. But they never step into the arena. They wait for motivation, for a sign, for someone to push them, and while they wait, life keeps slipping by. The truth is, transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens the moment you decide that you're done waiting, the moment you finally choose to act on what's been burning inside you all along. Every person who's ever built something extraordinary has felt that inner shift and that point when they said, "Enough. Enough of doubting myself. Enough of overthinking. Enough of holding back." That's the moment the fire ignites. Because real change never begins outside of you. It begins within. You can have all the inspiration in the world. You can listen to every speech, read every book, watch every video. But nothing changes until you take responsibility for your own rise. And that's what this moment is about. The decision to own your life again. Because no one else will do it for you. People can encourage you, guide you, motivate you, but they can't walk your path. You have to do that yourself. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's uncertain. But that's what makes it real. Growth is supposed to stretch you. Destiny isn't supposed to feel easy. The path to becoming the best version of yourself is built with the bricks of discipline, discomfort, and faith. You see, there's a point where you stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Why not me? Why shouldn't I be the one to rise? Why shouldn't I be the one to make the change?" Why shouldn't I take this dream and make it real? Because if not now, when? And if not you, who? We live in a world that constantly tells you to wait. Wait for the right time, wait for approval, wait until you're ready. But if you spend your life waiting, you'll miss the very opportunities meant for you. The truth is, the moment you take one small step toward what you want, the entire universe shifts to meet you. People show up, doors open, possibilities unfold, all because you dared to move. So stop underestimating what's inside you. Stop telling yourself you're not ready, because readiness doesn't come before action. It comes from action. You build confidence by doing the thing you fear. You find direction by walking the path. You find strength not in the calm, but in the storm. And when you start moving, even when you don't have all the answers, something inside you starts to awaken. The part of you that remembers who you really are. Let's be honest. The fear won't go away. The doubt won't disappear. You'll always have moments of uncertainty. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving despite it. Every step you take while scared builds your inner power. Every decision you make in the face of doubt strengthens your spirit. The most powerful people you admire weren't fearless. They were simply unwilling to let fear make their choices for them. The question is, are you willing to take that step? Are you willing to believe in yourself before anyone else does? Because the truth is, nobody will believe in you until you do. People respond to your conviction, not your potential. You have to be the first to see what others can't yet see in you. You have to carry the vision until it becomes visible to the world. This moment right now, this second, could be the turning point of your entire life if you choose to let it. Maybe you've been through pain. Maybe you've faced loss. Maybe you've failed more times than you can count. But those experiences didn't come to break you. They came to build you. Every wound was preparing you for wisdom. Every setback was sharpening your strength. Every closed door was pointing you to the right one. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. You've learned, you've grown, and now you're stronger than you've ever been. Stop disqualifying yourself because of your past. The same pain that tried to destroy you has now equipped you to rise higher than ever before. This is your time to take what life gave you and turn it into fuel. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to begin. Right now, where you are with what you have. Because waiting to be ready is just another form of fear disguised as patience. Action creates clarity. Progress creates confidence. Movement creates meaning. And before you know it, every small step you take today becomes the foundation of the future you've been dreaming of. So if you've been standing still, doubting yourself, wondering if you're enough, let me remind you, you are more than enough. You've always been. Everything you need to change your life is already within you. The courage, the strength, the resilience, the fire. It's there. It's just waiting for you to activate it through action. This is the moment where you stop wishing and start becoming. Where you stop watching and start doing. Where you stop waiting for the light and realize that you are the light. Because no one can live your story for you. No one can chase your dream for you. The power is and always has been, is in your hands, so step up, step forward, and step into the version of yourself that's been waiting on the other side of your hesitation. Because this moment, right now, is yours. And if you dare to claim it, everything will change. There comes a time in every person's life when they realize that no one is coming to save them, that the responsibility to rise, to rebuild, and to rewrite the story rests in their own hands. That realization is not meant to discourage you, it's meant to awaken you. Because this life, this moment right here, is your opportunity to shape something greater out of yourself. The power to change your circumstances, to transform your mindset, to create something meaningful. It's been with you all along. You just have to choose to use it. We often wait for the perfect moment, for a sign from the universe, or for someone to give us permission to move forward. But let's be honest, there's never a perfect time. Life will always be a mix of uncertainty and chaos. You'll never have every answer, and you'll never feel completely ready. But the truth is, your growth doesn't wait for comfort. It waits for courage. The moment you take full ownership of your life, everything begins to shift. Because responsibility is power. The moment you accept that, you stop blaming, you stop complaining, and you start creating. Many people spend their lives pointing fingers and at their past, their circumstances, their upbringing, their luck. They say things like, if only I had what they had, or if only life were fair. But the truth is, life isn't supposed to be fair. It's supposed to be forging. The challenges you face aren't barriers. They're building blocks. Every hardship is shaping you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone ready for more. When you stop seeing your problems as punishments and start seeing them as preparation, that's when everything changes. You have to understand, nobody becomes great by living comfortably. Growth requires discomfort. Success requires sacrifice, and becoming who you're meant to be requires letting go of who you used to be. It's not an easy process, but it's the only process that leads to transformation. Every legend, every leader, every person who's ever achieved something extraordinary had one thing in common. They took ownership. They didn't wait for luck. They didn't wait for the world to notice them. They made a decision that they were going to become the kind of person who deserved the life they desired. Think about it. Every single day, you're writing a page of your story. And someday that story will be read, maybe not by millions, maybe not by the world, but by your own soul. What kind of story do you want it to be? A story of fear and hesitation? Or a story of courage and transformation? The pen has always been in your hand. You decide how this chapter ends. You decide what happens next. That's the power of responsibility. It gives you back control over your narrative. When you stop saying, "I can't," and start asking, "How can I?" Your entire energy shifts. You move from limitation to possibility. You stop seeing obstacles and you start seeing opportunities. That's when you begin to rise. Not because life suddenly gets easier, but because you get stronger. The truth is, life doesn't change until you change. Circumstances don't transform until your mindset does. Once you take ownership of your growth, of your habits, of your reactions, you become unstoppable. It's easy to talk about dreams. It's easy to imagine success. But what really defines you is what you do when no one is watching. The discipline to show up, to keep going, to fight through the silence. That's what builds greatness. Because it's not the loud moments that define your destiny. It's the quiet ones, the unseen hours where you choose consistency over comfort. You see, consistency is the bridge between intention and manifestation. It's the daily decision to keep showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when no one claps. And here's the truth. No one owes you anything. Not recognition, not support, not validation. The world doesn't stop because you have a dream. You have to earn your place. You have to build your worth through effort, through resilience, through faith. And when you do that, life starts responding differently. People start respecting you not because of what you say, but because of what you do. So take responsibility for where you are right now. Not to shame yourself, but to empower yourself. If you're not where you want to be, good. That means there's room to grow. That means there's a path to walk. Every setback can be turned into a setup if you choose to see it that way. But you can't do that while blaming others or waiting for the world to change. You do it by changing yourself, your mindset, your habits, your energy, your focus. You have to stop carrying the weight of what you cannot control and start mastering what you can. You can't control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. You can't control the past, but you can control the lessons you take from it. You can't control time, but you can control how you use it. That's where your power lies. Not in control of the external, but in mastery of the internal. And when you finally accept that, you stop living reactively. You stop letting life happen to you and you start making life happen through you. You stop chasing validation and you start chasing growth. You stop begging for opportunities and you start creating them. You stop waiting for someday and you realize this is your someday. So whatever your dream is, don't wait for anyone to hand it to you. Don't wait for perfect timing or permission. The life you want will not appear by chance. It will be built by choice. Brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. And the beautiful part? The moment you start taking ownership of your life, you stop being a victim of your story, and you become the author of it. So if you're tired of waiting for something to change, make the decision today to rise, to take charge, to become who you were meant to be, because this is your moment. Own it, live it, and never forget your life will only shift when you do. This is your moment. Don't let it pass, don't let it fade. Own it, live it, become it.